Have you ever felt a subtle tug in your soul, a quiet insistence that something in your life needs to change? For certain individuals, this feeling grows strongest around one of the most intimate aspects of human life: sex. When a chosen soul begins to withdraw from casual sexual engagement, it sends ripples through both the physical and spiritual worlds. It's not a matter of morality, shame, or repression. It's a signal, a calling from the very essence of your being, demanding attention. At some point, you may notice that sexual encounters no longer feel the same. They don't satisfy the way they once did, and a strange fatigue or heaviness lingers afterward. This isn't coincidence. For those tuned into higher frequencies, sex is more than physical. It's an exchange of energy, a merging of forces that can either lift the spirit or drain it. When done unconsciously, it leaves fragments behind, imprints of others' intentions, emotions, and unresolved shadows. Over time, your sensitivity grows, and your soul begins to recognize which encounters nourish it and which deplete it. Chosen ones aren't inherently superior, they are simply more attuned. They notice subtle energies, the invisible weight in a room, the motives behind a glance, and the misalignment in relationships. When they awaken to the sacredness of their own energy, they begin to see sex as a profound act of energy exchange rather than mere pleasure. The body is a vessel, the soul is a flame, and every interaction carries the power to either illuminate or extinguish it. This awakening does not go unnoticed. The world, which thrives on distraction, impulse, and addictive patterns, reacts when a chosen soul refuses to participate in unconscious indulgence. Entities, energies, and forces that once thrived on your scattered attention stir uneasily, not because pleasure itself is wrong, but because control is slipping from the hands of those who depend on your energy being fragmented. Sex, when approached consciously, can transform. It becomes life force energy, a creative fire that can heal, inspire, and elevate. But misused, it drains the soul, leaves lingering shadows, and attracts energies that aren't yours. Even the intention alone before a single act occurs can open a doorway. Thoughts, desires, and impulses carry vibrational weight. For a chosen soul, nothing is trivial, and every choice reverberates beyond the material plane. When you learn to hold this energy, you begin to witness remarkable changes. Intuition sharpens, spiritual clarity emerges, dreams become lucid, and guidance comes through in ways you never imagined. Yet this path isn't without challenge. People may drift away, temptation arises, and the universe tests your commitment. Abstaining from casual sexual energy is not about denying pleasure, it's about claiming wholeness. It's about learning that your fulfillment cannot come from outside validation, touch, or attention, but from the alignment of your own soul. The spiritual world notices these shifts immediately. When a chosen one conserves their energy and aligns with higher purpose, they wield it as fire, transformational and protective. The underworld feels it. Forces that once fed on unconscious desire become unsettled. The chosen soul, once distracted, now moves with discernment and power. They recognize manipulation, set boundaries without guilt, and refuse to surrender their light. This is the true purpose behind renunciation. Not punishment, not repression, but preservation and empowerment. Every conscious decision strengthens the connection between body, mind, and spirit, and transforms sexual energy into a force that safeguards and illuminates your journey. The awakening is profound, the shift undeniable, and for those ready to feel it, it is nothing short of revolutionary. Honestly, I've come to realize that stepping back from casual sex isn't about judgment or feeling superior. It's about protecting my energy and aligning with my true self. The more I pay attention to how I feel afterward, the more I notice the subtle ways my energy gets scattered when I engage without intention. It's not that desire disappears, but my soul starts craving something deeper, real connection, authenticity, and spiritual alignment. I feel like this is a turning point for anyone on a spiritual path. When you start seeing sex as more than just physical pleasure, as an exchange of energy, it changes how you move through life. You become more aware of who you allow into your space, more careful with your intentions, and more conscious of your own energy. For me, the shift has been liberating. It's like reclaiming a part of myself I didn't even know was being drained. And yes, it's challenging. People test you. Society pushes back, and loneliness can feel intense, but the reward is inner strength, clarity, and a deeper connection to my purpose. I honestly think everyone deserves to experience that level of awareness in their life, even if it takes stepping away from patterns society says are normal. It's like a subtle whisper from the heavens saying, "You're ready now." Ready for what exactly? Ready to receive wisdom, intuition, and spiritual gifts that have always been within you but were clouded by the chaos of unbalanced sexual energy. As your life begins to fall into alignment, new channels of divine energy open, your senses sharpen, your body begins to recalibrate, your energy lifts, sleep becomes restorative, your mind clears, and your spiritual sensitivity intensifies, sometimes so much that it can feel overwhelming at first. You start noticing the presence of beings of light, receiving guidance even before questions are formed, and feeling a love that doesn't come from anyone around you, but from something infinitely greater. And then it hits you. This journey was never about suppressing the body. It has always been about liberating the soul. Heaven also provides protection because it knows this path will not be without challenges. But this protection is not physical. It is woven from your own energy, your own frequency. You become less susceptible to illusions, harder to manipulate, more grounded, more complete. And with that stability, your true purpose begins to awaken. The energy you once poured away carelessly is now available to you, transforming into a force that can heal through your touch, your words, your presence. The universe honors the sacrifices you make, not with recognition or praise, but with purpose. And when you align with that purpose, everything starts moving in harmony. But make no mistake, this path is not simple. The world will attempt to pull you back. People may misinterpret your choices, calling you cold, distant, or arrogant, but they don't understand that you no longer depend on external validation to feel whole. Protecting your energy, saying no to temptation, and walking away from easy pleasures is not arrogance, it is self-preservation. With that choice often comes a deep solitude, not just being physically alone, but feeling like a stranger in your own world. Connections that once seemed permanent may fade. Even people who once loved you may drift away. But this is not exile, it's purification. Solitude becomes a teacher, a sacred space where you speak directly to the divine and hear the voice of your own soul. In this stillness, you shed the masks the world forced upon you and see your true purpose clearly. This sacred solitude strengthens you. It shows that even when physical eyes cannot see, you are never truly alone. There is always light, always protection walking beside you. And one day, this season of solitude will end, leaving you transformed. You will no longer desire shallow pleasures or draining relationships. Solitude becomes the bridge to genuine connection with people, experiences, and opportunities that resonate with your frequency and nourish your soul. Everything begins with a conscious choice to conserve your energy and redirect it with intention. Renouncing temporary gratification is an act of courage. But the real magic happens in the transmutation. The energy once spent impulsively through desire, distraction, or fleeting pleasure becomes creative power. Sexual energy, one of the most potent forces a human possesses, transforms into willpower, clarity, and discernment when preserved. Your body, mind, and spirit awaken. Your presence shifts the atmosphere around you. Temptation may return, old patterns may resurface, and the body may cry out, but each time you resist, you strengthen your connection with the universe. It recognizes your readiness. Your intuition sharpens. Your spiritual vision deepens. You perceive before events unfold, understand what isn't spoken, and hear messages hidden in silence. You become a bridge between realms, a vessel through which divine energy flows. Eventually, your life begins to reflect this transformation. New cities, new careers, new circles, your path reshapes itself around your purpose. You attract those who need the light and guidance you now carry. When you speak or help, your words come from a place far deeper than the self. They come from a divine current. You are no longer just yourself. You are a messenger, a channel between worlds. But this also carries responsibility. The purer your channel, the more careful you must be with your energy. You cannot mix with just any influence. You cannot ignore your intuition. You cannot return to your old patterns. This is why many chosen ones experience a complete life transformation, because true service requires a pure heart, elevated energy, and conscious intent. This is the mission. It was never about fame, wealth, or external reward. It is about alignment, service, and the conscious use of divine energy. In the end, this journey is about reclaiming your power, honoring your energy, and stepping fully into your true self. By choosing to protect and consciously direct your sexual energy, you unlock a higher frequency within you, a frequency that amplifies intuition, spiritual gifts, and clarity of purpose. The path isn't easy. It demands solitude, discipline, and courage. But every sacrifice, every moment of resistance shapes you into a vessel of light capable of influencing the world in ways that go far beyond the physical. Renouncing temporary pleasures isn't deprivation, it's transformation. It turns energy that once scattered into a force that heals, creates, and elevates. And when you reach this place, when your body, mind, and soul are aligned, you realize that the greatest reward isn't recognition or validation from others. It's the deep knowing that you are living in harmony with your divine purpose. That is the essence of being a chosen one.